Now the second unit, the different strands within the movement. All of you know that the non-cooperation movement began in January 1921. So that non-cooperation movement was different in various places or various situations. Now we will see how this movement was in the towns, and that is the middle class participation in the towns. In the towns, the middle class, thousands of students left government controlled schools and colleges, and the teachers resigned, lawyers gave up their legal practices. Council elections were boycotted except in Madras. Foreign goods were boycotted, liquor shops were picketed, and foreign clothes were burnt. In many places, merchants and traders refused to trade foreign goods. People started wearing Indian clothes, and so the production of Indian textile mills and handlooms went up. But there were some reasons for the decline in the non-cooperation movement in the cities. All of us knows that at that time, no institutions of ours was there. So, and also the khadi clothes were much expensive, and the poor people were not affordable for that. As I said, no alternative institutions were set up. So the teachers and students finally had to resume the studies in the government schools. Lawyers joined back in government courts. Next, we will see about the movement in the countryside. In Awadh, the peasant movement developed under the leadership of Baba Ramachandra, and this Baba Ramachandra was a sannyasi. It was against talukdars and landlords who demanded high rents from peasants and make them do beggar. All of you know that what is a beggar. These people are not given any wage after their work, and these people were asked to do beggars. It demanded, that means the movement in the countryside demanded reduction of revenue, that is the peasant movement. All of you know that the peasant movement started by Baba Ramachandra demanded, but all things they demanded reduction of revenue, abolition of beggar, and social boycott of oppressive landlords. In many places, Nai Dobi Bands were organized by panchayats to deny services to landlords of even barbers and washermen. In June 1920, Jawaharlal Nehru began going around the villages in Awadh, talking to the village people and trying to understand their problems. By October, Awadh Kisan Sabha was set up, and this was set up by Jawaharlal Nehru. That means it was headed by Jawaharlal Nehru, Baba Ramachandra, and few others. 300 branches had been set up in the villages around this region within a month. As the movement spread, the houses of talukdars and merchants were attacked, bazaars were looted, and grain hordes were taken over. And these were the movements in the countryside. Next, the topic is interpretations of Swaraj by the tribal peasants. As I told you, the people defined Swaraj in a very different way. According to the tribal peasants, the message of Mahatma and the idea of Swaraj was very different. It was very different from the others. They thought that Gandhiji had declared that no taxes were to be paid and land was to be distributed, or land was to be redistributed among the poor. Repeating, they thought that Gandhiji had declared that no taxes were to be paid and the land was to be redistributed among the poor. Now we will see a fantastic figure, Alluri Sidarama Raju. In Gudam Hills of Andhra Pradesh, a militant guerrilla movement spread under the leadership of him, Alluri Sidarama Raju. Inspired by non-cooperation movement, he talked of the greatness of Mahatma and persuaded people to wear khadi and give up drinking. According to Gandhian ideas, he wanted all the people to do so. The only difference in his opinion was that he believed in force. He was against non-violence. According to him, India could be liberated only by the use of force, not by non-violence. When we say about this Alluri Siddharama Raju, it is very interesting. He claimed that he had a variety of special powers. He could make correct astrological predictions and he could heal the people and he could survive even bullet shots. Then we will come back. The Gudam rebels attacked the police stations, attempted to kill British officials and carried on guerrilla warfare for getting Swaraj. This Alluri Siddharama Raju was captured and he was executed in 1924. Next is about Swaraj in the plantations. It was also very different. What this Swaraj mean? The Swaraj in the plantations, we can see the plantation workers in Assam, freedom meant the right to move freely in and out of the areas where they were enclosed. They need to retain a link with the village from where they had come. They were suppressed under the Inland Emigration Act of 1859. And we can see the conditions of the plantation workers in Assam during colonialism. They were suppressed under the Inland Emigration Act, and under this act they were not allowed to move to the villages without permission. But the main thing is that they will not get a permission. They were given permission very rare. They were not allowed to have any connection with the village from which they came. When they heard about the non-cooperation movement, they defied their authorities, left the plantations and headed home. They believed Gandhi Raj was coming and everyone will be given land in their own villages. But poor people, they never reached their destination and were caught by the police and they were brutally beaten up. Next is the towards civil disobedience movement. In February 1922, Mahatma Gandhi decided to draw the non-cooperation movement. He felt that movement was turning violent in many places and satyagrahis must be trained properly and they must be given so much ideas, and he was against this non-violence and all. We all know that. And the incident that made Mahatma to call off the non-cooperation movement was the Chauri Chaura incident. This is the Chauri Chaura incident, and this incident was in Gorakhpur, that is in UP, and it happened on 4th February 1922. The present, we can see here a peaceful demonstration in a bazaar turned into a violent clash with the police. The incident led to the death of 3 civilians and 22 or 23 policemen. Because of this violent reaction, Mahatma Gandhi decided to call off the non-cooperation movement. When you are asked what was the incident that made Mahatma Gandhi to call off the non-cooperation movement, you can write this Chauri Chaura incident, and that was this Chauri Chaura was in UP, and you must explain this Chauri Chaura incident. Now, these are the pictures of that Chauri Chaura, and we can see the different views within the Congress. Some leaders within Congress were tired of mass struggle and wanted to participate in the election to the provincial councils. They felt it was important to oppose British policies within the councils. C.R. Das, Motilal Nehru formed the Swaraj Party within the Congress to agree for a return to council parties or council politics. Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose argued for more forceful mass agitation and for full independence. We can see the factors that shaped Indian politics towards the late 1920. The first factor is that the effect of the worldwide economic depression. Next is the agricultural prices which began to fall from 1926 and collapsed after 1930. The next point is the economic instability and colonial rule. You please children, you must read that topics very carefully, and these are the factors that shaped Indian politics towards the late 1920. Next is about Simon Commission. So this is Sir John Simon. He headed this commission, the Simon Commission. And it was, as I told, the Simon Commission was constituted under this Sir John Simon. Its main objective was to look the functioning of the constitutional system in India and suggest changes. But the main interesting factor is that not a single Indian member was there in the commission. Then how could they know what is happening in India? And so all the people were the British in that council. So the Indian leaders opposed the commission, and when it arrived in India, it was greeted by the slogan, Simon, go back. I think you are familiar with that. In the earlier classes and all, you have studied that it was not vast, and you had seen that picture also, Simon, go back. They were having that slogan, Simon, go back. All parties, including Congress and Muslim League, participated. Sir John Simon, and here they are having their placards and they are going with this Simon, go back slogan. Then we will see the demand of Purna Swaraj. Swaraj and Purna Swaraj, complete independence. Swaraj independence and Purna Swaraj, we need complete independence. In October 1929, the Viceroy Lord Irwin announced, so this is the pictures of the demand for Purna Swaraj, we can see it. In October 1929, the Lord Viceroy Irwin announced a vague offer of dominion status for India and a round table conference to discuss the future constitution. And this was not satisfied by the Congress. In December 1929, under the presidency of Nehru, you can see that under the presidency of Nehru, the Lahore Congress formalized the demand of Purna Swaraj or full independence of India. It was also declared that 26th January 1930 would be celebrated as the Independence Day. People took a pledge to struggle for complete independence.